So it looks like we're live again. Sorry about that, you guys. I pressed something and I'm not exactly sure what I did, but we are back and back with Kelli Mason, and it's perfect timing because you were just about to lead us into managing stress, right? Into a practice. So this is actually perfect. So I'll hand it back on over to you. Let's try this again.
Yeah, so as you can see, things happen all the time that are out of our control and we have no control over except the present moment. And Kristen, you did such a great job of handling that because, all of this stuff is so new to all of us. Technology and connecting through the ethers, we're used to so connecting, in person. So um, this is a really simple breathing technique that you can do if something like this does happen. And your mind is so powerful that it might try to make you think like you're so stupid, or why'd you do that, or gosh, now no one's gonna want to come back to see you at the salon, or whatever it might be, some story that is really limiting to you and really hard on your heart and making you feel so much smaller than you need to be, right? Because stuff happens, like inevitable, like I said at the beginning of this video, or at this talk. So as soon as you become aware something's not going right, you can do this very simple breathing technique. You can do it with your eyes open. You can do it in the back room. You can do it in the bathroom. You can do it wherever, whatever, however, just do it, right? And the concept is that we find presence in between the spaces of our breath, right? It's not the actual breath, the breathing in that we're finding it. It's the space between the in-breath and the out-breath that is the pure present moment, right? It's that space, that gap in time. So if you can do this right along with me if you want to, but all we're going to do is we'll take a deep breath in, we're going to hold it, and then we're going to breathe out and we're going to hold it at the bottom. Okay. So we'll do a round of 3 or 4. Okay. So if you want to, you can close your eyes. It might make it a little bit easier for you. So go ahead and close your eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose, breathing in slowly as much as you can, expanding your chest, expanding your ribs, expanding your lungs. And then when you're as full as you possibly can be, hold your breath at the top for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then release your breath slowly, 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 breathing out every ounce of air that's in your lungs, squeezing in your abdomen, tightening up your diaphragm, squeezing out every ounce of breath, and then holding it at the bottom for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now slowly breathe in again as much as you can, slowly but surely through your nose, expanding your lungs, expanding your diaphragm, filling up your belly, taking that deep, deep, deep all the way down into your stomach kind of breath, expanding fully, filling yourself up, and then holding it at the top of that breath for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Letting all that breath out through your nose, slowly leaking out that air, all that unused air that's carrying anything that's limiting and has any sort of negativity or stress attached to it, letting it all out. And then holding it at the bottom for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now breathing in as deep as you can, expanding your chest, expanding your belly, filling up all of that beautiful fresh air, all that cleansing and healing, pure life force energy that's giving you all of this strength, all of this cleansing. You might start feeling your body tingling and holding your breath at the top for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then breathing out, letting all of the air out as much as you can. Squeezing in your stomach, squeezing in your lungs, letting all of that air out that's carrying anything that's not beneficial for you. And then holding it at the bottom, holding your breath for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now just bringing yourself back to a regular breath, no restrictions, in and out through your nose, casually, your mind, your fingertips, and just noticing how your body feels, noticing that your mind came back to the center, noticing your mind came back to this present space, that it's not wondering or wandering, because it's so focused on doing the one single thing that keeps us alive, the one single thing that we need to live, which is breathe. Just taking a second just to notice how that makes you feel in control in the present moment. This is the present moment. And those spaces that you find in between with holding our breath gives us that sensation, sometimes that tingling sensation of, oh, here I am here now. And that's how we regain our center and we regain our power, and we can refocus and dive back into whatever we're doing with much more clarity and calmness of our mind. So you can go ahead and bring your eyes back open if you want to. How do you feel?
I love that. I can see how that would be so useful. I mean, in a lot of situations, but it's something about just breathing in and then breathing back out and being like super aware of that too, like focusing on that breath that really does force you to almost be present. So I love that. And I did feel sort of like a tingling too.
Yeah, it's your body. You're coming all the way into the present moment because we live so much in our heads, right? We have to think, drive the car, stop the car, don't touch the hot plate, zip up your pants, put on your makeup. Like we're always, our minds are always doing things. And so to give them a break, like pump the brakes for just even 30 seconds to 1 minute, gives us this space to choose, right? I use a process called the TCA approach to expanding your mind that I created when I started teaching all of this stuff. And it's very simple. It's becoming aware of your thoughts and taking a conscious choice, like what do I want to do? I like the thought that I'm having. Is this something that's beneficial for me? Is it getting me what I want? Is it doing the things I want it to do? And if it's a no, choosing something different, and then taking actionable steps to start creating a new pattern for that new way of thinking. And when we use breathing techniques or meditation, it gives us the space to even create something new, right? We can't just keep stuffing more stuff in. We have to create space, let some of it go, and then put back in what we want. So that's how we reprogram our minds to be on autopilot in a really beneficial way, in a less stressful way, in a more way that is supportive of what we actually want to feel, which is peaceful, right? You ask anyone, it's like no one wants to feel chaotic. No one wants to feel stressed out. You want to feel like, I would rather feel peaceful than high, right? Like I'd rather feel relaxed and just like no tension in my head, no tension in my shoulders, no tension in my thoughts. I'd rather feel completely relaxed and at peace, because from that space we move through life more fluidly. We attract things more easily. We achieve things more seamlessly instead of trying so hard to like make that next level of income. It's like it just happens because you create space. So that is the number one thing that I do, is to breathe. But it's nice to have a pattern. So breathing in as much as you can, pause, breathe out as much as you can, pause, because it's forcing that space. It's forcing that pause to create that gap in between time. So you're not just like, because
Yeah.
there's no pause, right? So that's
I just to piggyback on what you said too, is like I love what you just said. You're like, you know, who would choose to be chaotic, right? Like who would choose that? And don't we all want to be peaceful? And I love that. But it's like I have caught myself um like purposefully doing things to avoid that quiet space. Do you know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know if anyone else feels like that, but I have like, being still is so unnatural for, I think, a lot of hairstylists, because we're go, go, go. We're used to going. So we're like filling, at least I've found myself filling the space with just stuff, even during this time. So it's like, I want to be peaceful, but I'm like purposely, almost like subconsciously avoiding that quiet space too, because it's uncomfortable.
yes, because you become aware.
Yeah.
And when we become aware of our thoughts, we realize there's things that we do that we don't like about ourselves. And then that creates an opportunity for judgment and shame and all of these other beautiful things that live in our shadow, that live inside of all of us. but it is uncomfortable to look at. And so I think we do avoid and we numb, like drink alcohol or eat food or keep ourselves busy or do things that are distracting or damaging to ourselves, because it's easier for us than to not even deal with, but to address and become acquaintances with what's happening in our thought processes. But it's a very empowering thing to know that everybody's got that shit going on, if I can say that word. Everybody's got like some not so nice things or not so great things that they either think or say in their minds about other people or about yourself. Like, it's totally normal. So get a pass on that. And also it's scary because then you have to make a choice, right? Once we're aware of something, we can't unknow. Once we're aware that we have a pattern that's going on that's landing us in a situation that we don't like, we have to choose. Do I stay doing this or do I choose something else? And if there has been anything that has happened during this time of like isolation and COVID and being alone with ourselves, is that it's all right here. Like, we can see it. And so it's a very pivotal time. Do I choose, because I know that I'm aware that, oh gosh, I have been really working way too hard or too much, or I've been giving myself away too much. I have not been giving myself enough time. Am I going to go back to doing that because I'm aware of it, or I'm going to change because I have the choice? And so when we're faced with those choices, we can feel guilt if we don't change, or we can feel fear if we want to. So it does bring a lot of stuff up. But it's also very powerful, and it's the only way. Like when I talked about at the beginning of this session was, I wanted to be on stage. I wanted to be like this famous hairdresser. I want to be doing all these things, but I wanted to, now that I look back on it, it's like, I want to do that, but I want to be peaceful and happy and joyful and grounded and calm and relaxed and enjoy the journey there and also in the moment. And I see far too many people who have it all and they are not happy and they're not peaceful and they're not relaxed and they do not love who they are. And so that is my hope for other people, is like, yes, achieve all the things in the physical world, but have it match your internal space. You know, like, it's not worth it to have all the things or all the money if you don't feel good in here and in here. So practices like this of confronting yourself creates some space so that you can achieve things at a high level of success. You can manifest all the things you want in this life with peace and with relaxation if you practice. So it is a practice. It's not just like something that'll appear, because you'll start, now you can't unknow all of this, so you're welcome. But
Yes,
you'll
exactly.
start to realize, yeah, your habits that are pulling you away from presence, that are pulling you away from being with yourself. And why do you want to be away from yourself, right? A big practice that we do in my membership community is journal prompting. Each month there's like 6 to 7 journal prompts that you ask yourself every month, and it's an outside influence giving you inside intel to yourself, right? Because it's hard to ask ourselves. I'm like, what do I ask myself? So each month there's a theme. Like this last month that we just experienced in May was transformation. So the prompts are something like, um, what in my life do I love and what would I love to shift? What thought processes am I noticing that are not in alignment with my big dream or my goal? Or, you know, so you start to think about these things a little more deeply, and you realize that all along you're your own key, you're the door, you're the lock, you're all of it. And you can get in anytime you want because you've got it all. But we just think that we don't. So yeah, thought awareness is very powerful. The other thing I wanted to share with you today is how to protect your energy. It's really simple. It's another practice that you can do. Very simply, I do this every time I go out in public, every time I go to the grocery store, especially right now, because I know that you guys will know what I mean by this, but when you can experience other people's vibes, right? Be like, that person's got a weird vibe. I like that vibe. Something's off about their vibe. Like, what are we talking about, right? We're talking about their energy. But what we're really talking about is their thoughts, because their thoughts are the most refined form of energy. So when you feel someone's energy, it's that you feel what they're thinking, whether they know it or not. Whether they're consciously thinking it or whether they're subconsciously thinking it, doesn't matter. But you are picking up what they are putting down in their head. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. So when we're out in the world, right, those thoughts are being projected. If you can imagine that, if whatever you're thinking is being projected out all around. Okay, so if you get in the line of fire of somebody's weird energy, you've kind of like caught yourself in their space. You can very easily pick up on it. Have you ever been around someone and you start talking like them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Like all of a sudden you're like, why do I have this voice?
Yeah.
Like,
Why do I have this twang all of a sudden?
yeah,
It's
what
weird.
are these words that I now say?
Yeah.
Like, hang around my sister, I'll be like, you know, I remember when that word fleek, I'm 8 years older than her. She was saying that. I was like, yeah, it's like, I was like, where did this come from? I don't know. Like,
You just start saying,
totally
catch yourself saying it. You're like, how did that happen? Yeah, I know
like
what you're
absorb mentally, subconsciously. This isn't like something we're choosing to do. It's just like on autopilot. So, same with your clients. Like if they're having a bad day, why are you at the end of the day still thinking about their bad day? Because you picked up their energy, you picked up their thought pattern.
saying.
Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So once you're aware of that, now you're welcome. Because you can't unknow, right? You're like, oh, now I know this thing, right? So now you get to have the choice. Do I want to protect my personal space so that I am not picking up other people's things? Because it's a choice. It's a choice. If I, Kristen, you're having a bad day, I don't need to take on your bad day to meet where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't I hold my space so that you can feel energized to come up here, right? So we don't need to take on other people's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to do it to be liked. We don't need to be good. We don't need to do it to be loving. We do not need to do it. So
This is
just
so good. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this because again, as hairstylists, what do? We're around people all day and there's so many different energies, right? And like, I don't know, I feel like it's such a real, like, I love what you just said about like, you pick up almost what people are thinking. Like you literally can feel like what they're feeling or like what they're thinking. So this is so important. I cannot wait to hear like how you protect your space and like your energy with that. That's awesome.
so with keeping it pretty simple, like I can go into all kinds of metaphysics and crazy stuff, but I'll keep it pretty simple for you guys for now.
Yeah.
Like our So we have our physical body, then we have our energetic body or your aura, right? You can feel people's energy when you're close to them. There's a reason that if your hand is this, just go ahead and put your hand by your face, but don't touch it. You can feel your hands, right? You can feel the energy coming off of your hands onto your cheeks, but you're not touching it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same as if like that feeling of like, oh, there's somebody behind me. How do you know that they're behind you? You can feel their energy. So just knowing that that exists just in your mind right now, knowing that there is an energy around you that surrounds you and it's going outward. Okay. Kind of think of it as like your thought carriers, right? Like our aura also holds our thoughts, so people can feel that. So I'm going to show you or talk you through a very simple practice that you can do to protect the energy that's inside of you so that you're creating a transparent boundary. A lot of people talk about boundaries, and I'm a big fan of boundaries, but not in the way that you might think. Like, not in like, I will not accept this, and nope, can't do that, nobody's getting in my thing, whatever. It's creating this transparent boundary so that you can still interact and engage with people who may want to come into your world without putting up these walls where you're unapproachable, right? I know we've all been around people where you're like, I can literally feel their wall.
Yeah.
Like they will not let me in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We don't want to be that way. We want to be loving and open. So this practice allows us to protect our energy, protect our personal power, protect so that whenever you're going to have to say some hard things like, no, Karen, we cannot take you to a level 10 today with your box colored hair that you've just done at home. I love you, but we're going to have to do this today. Like, it protects you in your personal power from not taking on the guilt or the shame or whatever Karen might be throwing at you because she really wants to be blonde today. So it gives you that power to stand in your truth and not pick up on what other people might be trying to influence you to do. Because as a hairdresser, how many times have people done that to us, right? I've experienced it. People are like, well, couldn't you just squeeze me in? Well, couldn't you just come in on a Saturday? And if our energy is not protected, we're very vulnerable to, because we're givers, right? We want to heal everyone. We want to help everyone. We want everyone to be happy. We want everyone to like us. It's not a bad thing unless it is a bad thing. So all you have to do is, if you want, you can keep your eyes open. I find it's easier for me to use my eyes closed because it's kind of like using our imagination, and it's just a little less distracting, but it doesn't mean that you have to. So just keep that in mind, and remember, as we're walking through this, you can put the shield up anytime you want. You don't have to go through this whole process. You can just know that it's there, and that's enough. Okay, so go ahead, and there's people watching me, it's funny. Close your eyes. Go ahead and close your eyes. Just take a couple of breaths and just find yourself connected back with your internal world. We're going to use our imagination. So just imagine you're turning your attention inward, as if you're looking inside of yourself instead of outside, as we always are. Connecting with that innermost part of yourself. And bringing your attention to your heart space. This is that center of giving and receiving, where we receive love, we give love, we love all people, right? We want everyone to feel happy and loving and kind and joyful and peaceful. And that all comes from our heart, right? So bringing your attention to the center of your heart. And then just imagining that there is a light coming out of the center of your heart. It's going everywhere and it's going nowhere. It's bright and it's clear and it's translucent. Very powerful. It feels somewhat like your breath. And just imagine that that light that's coming inside of you can't hurt you, can't damage you. It's pure, perfect love. And just imagine that that light is going outside into your aura, like we talked about, however far out you'd like it to be. It could be close to you a couple inches, it could be out a couple feet, however you feel close, wherever you want that space to be. And then just imagine that light coming out of the center of your heart and going around your body clockwise. As fast as slow as you'd like, doesn't matter. And imagine that light just spinning all around your body, all the way up above your head, in that outer rim of your aura, down alongside your arms, down the bottom of your feet, up the other side. And just creating this perfect translucent barrier all around you. Protecting everything that's inside of you. You're protecting your heart, protecting your mind, giving you the inner strength that you need so that you can say what you need to say, ask for what you want, without taking on anyone else's stuff. And just being aware and noticing that it's around you and how that feels to be in this safe, protective space where that energy force field is around you and it's like repelling anything that's not beneficial for you, bouncing right off of you. And then just bring your attention back to your breath, just your natural state, and open up your eyes and just notice how you feel with this force field around you still. So we are now noticing ourselves, right? You can look at your hands, your feet, you're aware, you're noticing yourself, you're looking outward, but you still have this protective, translucent barrier all around you, protecting your heart, protecting your mind, protecting this inner sanctuary that you've created that's so sacred and so special, that needs to have its own little home, right? We want to keep it safe. We want to keep everything in there safe, so that we can do the things that we need to do out in the world without fear that someone's going to drop some weird energy into us, or that we're going to take something on, or we're going to feel influenced. So just knowing that that's around you is a very powerful tool,
Right.
especially with coronavirus happening.
Yeah, like quite literally, you know.
Like, literally, like, I'm not kidding. Put that force field up around you and know that you can even use a mantra. I always say, I'm perfectly healthy, mentally and physically, divinely guided, protected, and loved. It's a little long, but you could even say, I am perfectly healthy, or I'm protected. I am protected is perfect. Perfect. Just say, I am protected. I am protected. I am protected. And that thought will vibrate, right? And we talked about thoughts are so powerful, creates energy. If you tell yourself that you are protected, and you start to believe in your subconscious programming that you are protected, that you are healthy, that you are being guided, you will feel that you are. So,
Oh my goodness. I could talk to you all day long, but that was just like such a little slice of what you're all about. And it's just so good. This was better than I could have even imagined. And I just feel like this is going to give people so much value. And I'm just so glad it was like divine that we did it during this time. I just think the information that you shared is going to be so helpful for people during this time. And so if I could just encourage you guys to just take on what Kelli said and, you know, start practicing now, right? Some of these things like breathing, like you said, it's a practice, right? Like, you know, protecting your energy, it's a practice. It kind of is like building a muscle like anything else. So if you start now, by the time we're getting back into the salon and exposing ourselves to the energies that are out in the world and in our salons and everything, like we kind of have a little bit more control of, you know, of our being. So it was all just so good. I love all of it. I don't want to have any technical difficulties again, so I'm going to see if there's any questions. I'm going to check on my phone, but just in case we run into anything, I want people to know where they can learn more about you and learn more about what you offer and things like that. So where do you want to direct them to if they want to learn more about Kelli and what she does?
you can go to my website. It's Limitless Soul Life, limitlesssoullife.com. We're working on my website right now, so there's a landing page, but you can find pretty much everything you need to there. My podcast, Limitless Soul with Kelli Mason, there's 73 episodes, and there's lots of really good interviews. And also, if you liked any of the stuff I talked about today, every other week I do a solo episode where I do an educational topic, where I'm either teaching on energy healing, I'm teaching on conscious business, anything like that. So there's a lot of episodes like that you can tune into, all for free. Every week on IGTV, on my Instagram page, Limitless Soul Life, I do an energy forecast. So there will be one up later today after I'm done doing this. And I talk about what's happening in astrology, what's happening in the energetic, you know, we talked a lot about our personal energy today, but what's happening in a bigger picture, and how you can flow with that energy through the week, so that you're like, oh, this is why I'm feeling so tired today, or this is why I've got so much motivation today, or oh, this is coming. So it'll give you a little bit of a guidance for the week on how to just move more relaxed through the week. Yeah, so you can find me those places. We have a membership that's $23 a month that will be opened up in June, and I love it. It's like my baby. It's a really beautiful space. If you're interested in energy work, or if you're interested in integrating anything like spirituality into your business, it's a great hub for that. We've got a library of content. There's like 100 different workbooks, videos, audios, meditations, yoga, and stuff in there. So yeah, lots of stuff.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And thank you just, oh my gosh, just everything that you just said. Like, you're up to so much. Like, you have so much going on. But, like, again, I just think that it's so apparent that it comes from a place of just pure joy and happiness for you. And so I just want to thank you so much for what you bring to our industry, because it's so unique and it's so different and it's so needed. Like, beyond what you can imagine. And so I'm just so incredibly grateful for you. I'm grateful for your time today. I'm grateful for your amazing energy that you always bring to the table through your social media, but it's even more amazing when it's in person, quote unquote. So thank you so much for being here. I'm not seeing, I mean, we had to break this up into two little sessions, so I'm not seeing any questions in this episode or like this part of it, but of course, if anybody reaches out with anything specific, I'll definitely send them your way. And thank you again so much for being here, Kelli.
Yeah, thank you, Kristen. Thanks, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it and have a lovely day.
Bye.